Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today I'll be answering the question of why do you want to disappear into the world of daydreams? Actually, one secret desire of most daydreamers, especially when I'm doing research, is they really want to disappear into this world forever. Like they really want to go into this imaginary world. They don't want anything related to reality. That's one. That's of course a desire on an upper level, not really an inner level desire. That's the desire on an, so why actually? Why? Actually, the main reason is escapism. You see, this imaginary world provides a temporary relief from real life responsibilities, from real life stresses, from real life relationships. See, something about real life actually. Real life is challenging, especially when you've not worked on yourself. It's challenging to interact with other people. They may betray you, they may frustrate you, your work may be boring. Like studies are boring, yeah. Like you don't even know if you will get a job, you don't even know if like you'll get that love of your life. So all these things actually, they are really challenging. But what happens is the imaginary world is not that challenging, especially when you are starting your daydreaming. It's not that challenging because you can get your idealized partner, your best friends. You feel like everything is just going well because they are coming from the elements of your own imagination. Like you are projecting your imagination to this place. So because it's just an imagination, it's happening in your mind, it means that you can create everything. You can go to amazing adventures. You can have the best job. You can have the best family. So that's why, of course, you prefer the fantasy to this real world. The other aspect is emotional relief. So the other universe actually also offers you this temporary relief from the negative emotions of it or you're feeling. Let's say you're traumatized and you've not processed those negative emotions or those stuck emotions. So because those stuck emotions are painful and you don't want to feel them, the dream now provides you a temporary relief or a safe refuge from facing those emotions. It's like you have to face your pain, but instead of facing your pain, this dream now provides you a place where like the pain is not there. Everything is just wonderful. Like this imagination is offering you like a place where everything is just wonderful without the pain. So that of course you prefer this other world instead of this world where you have to face your trauma, you have to process the emotional pain, you have to process those stuck emotions, you have to process those stresses, the frustrations, those beliefs you have about yourself. You have to deal with those things. And dealing with those things actually is all about facing the pain head on. And something about facing pain is, of course, when you're starting, it can be painful, especially when you don't even know or you don't have the best kind of therapy for processing things in your real life. Yeah. The other aspect is creativity and imagination. So, in a world where your creativity is infinite, your imagination is infinite, and compared to a world where your creativity is limited and your imagination is limited because you have to obey some laws, you have to do this, do that, because you have to do some responsibilities in your real life. So of course you'll prefer the fantasy because in the fantasy you can be this explorer, you can be this adventurer, you can go to alien universes, you can have this ideal family of 2 kids or 3 kids, whatever. You can just have these idealized things in that world of your imagination, and you also feel that you're so creative. Like it's like you're having a canvas which you can paint anything. Like you can paint anything you want in that canvas, and you also have the imagination and the creativity to paint anything. So of course you'll prefer the imaginary world instead of this real world, which the canvas is kind of limited. Yeah. The other aspect is of course a stress reduction. So as we've said, like daily life and all those chores are stressful. But something about this imaginary world is it doesn't have that much stress. It doesn't have that much stress because you have a sense of control. It's an element of your own imagination. So when things are elements of your own imagination, especially when you can still control it, then it means that you can do whatever you want. And when you can do whatever you want and you have control over things happening in your life, course there will be less stress because I have control. Let's say I have control over my job, I have control over my finances, I have control over what I'm supposed to do each day, each night. Of course, stress will lower down. And the fact that there is less stress and there's more control, of course, you will prefer the other world and you will want to disappear to that other world. Because when you come back to the real world, stress and control, like you cannot control everything in this world. You have to follow, you have to go to school, you have to go look for a job, you have to talk to your parents probably, as even so all these things really make it challenging to live in this real world. Yeah, so it's realistic for you to want to disappear to that other world. It's very realistic and it's understandable for you to really want to go there, for you to want to wish that your life would just be your daydream, or for you to wish that all those imaginary friends in your daydreams will come to this real world, or all those desires you have in your imaginary world will come to this real world. It's so realistic. But the thing is, what's unrealistic is totally neglecting the real world, like totally neglecting the real world and just preferring the imaginary world. This is because the more you neglect the real world, the more that stark contrast between the imaginary world and the real world grows. And when this stark contrast grows, your stresses and your anxieties will pile up. And when those stresses and anxieties pile up, it will get to the point where the imaginary world will not even be serving you, because your stresses are too much to the point that a coping mechanism will not serve you. That's what a coping mechanism is. It helps you to a certain level, but as these things you're supposed to cope with keep piling up and piling up, the only option remaining will be you have to sweep them. I just want you to imagine you're living in this house, and then instead of throwing away the litter, just keep piling them up in your house. Of course, it's okay because your house is big, but it will reach a time where the litter is even pushing you outside your own home, because it's piling up and it's becoming a lot. It's the same thing with these emotions. Like, yes, coping is okay, but now it will get to the point where the coping mechanism you are using, consciously or unconsciously, cannot even serve you anymore, and you now have to deal with the stresses you've been piling up for 20, 30, 40 years. So always don't ignore this real world, because the fact that you snap back to reality is just a clear indicator that actually this is where you're supposed to be. If it was possible for you to just stay in that imaginary world like forever, like let's say like Matrix or something, then that's okay. But the fact that you have to snap back to this reality is, the more you live there more, the more you ignore here more, and when you ignore here more, you'll feel a lot of pain. So always focus on dealing with the real life, not just ignoring it. Deal with it. Don't even, it's okay to daydream, but don't ignore your real life. Hope you found that informative and challenging, guys. Until next time, have a nice day.